The first thing that I notice when I look at this question and the answer choices is that we've got verbs of different tenses. Now, remember, with verbs, we really want to check verb agreement first. So that's our first priority, because that's usually the rule that we are getting tricked on these questions. So verb agreement, remember, is kind of like pronoun agreement. We're thinking in terms of singular and plural. Verbs, just like pronouns, just like nouns, can either be singular or plural. And so we need to say, well, what's doing the action? What's doing the swirling in this case? Because that's going to determine the singular or plural. And in other places, this might be a trap, but smudges is actually the thing that is doing the action. The smudges are swirling around the photo's edges. Other versions of this question might want to trick us and make us think that shells is the answer, or is the noun the thing that's doing the action. But in this case, it wouldn't matter if we thought that, because they're both plural, and so we'd be like, okay, I need a plural verb to match with that. Well, swirl is plural, right? Because we could say something like, they swirl together. They is plural, so swirl is plural. That sounds good. One good thing about verb agreement is usually we can hear when it's good, because we wouldn't say something like, they swirls together. That sounds terrible. We might say instead something like, it swirls together. That sounds better, right? So that's because that's singular and this is singular. So that's really what verb agreement is all about. We know that swirl then is plural. We know that have swirled is also plural. And the thing about choices B and D is because they're other tenses, singular and plurals doesn't really matter anymore. Everything is singular, everything is plural, it's kind of both. And so for our purposes, we can't eliminate those for that reason either. There's no singular choice here. So verb agreement ends up not mattering. But it's good that we checked it first. It's just a good habit to get into. There will be other places where it matters. But when it doesn't matter and we're still dealing with verbs, it probably means we're dealing with symmetry. In fact, let's just mark that with a different color here to make it clear. We're now thinking about something different. Symmetry is still about consistency within the sentence. And so we are thinking about the tense, and we're making sure we have the right tense. But I call this symmetry because it's not like we're pulling the tense out of nowhere. The tense is going to come from something else. Usually something within the same sentence is going to tell us the right tense. We're going to match two verbs and say, this other verb is this tense, so we need to have the same tense for the underlined portion. But this is a short sentence. Smudges resembling oyster shells swirl around the photo's edges. There's no other verb in this sentence. But the whole paragraph is basically one long list, right? Wet plate photos are marvelously fine-grained and detailed, and they seem to glow with an ethereal silvery light. One misstep or a speck of dust in the glass plate, though, and flaws appear. Smudges resembling oyster shells swirl around the photo's edges. Sunbursts or streaks emerge where collodion pools unevenly. That's our verb. We can also even go to the next sentence. Since the film requires long exposures, moving subjects blur. Not where. Emerge. Emerge is our verb. That's an action. So we've got three things here. Swirl, emerge, blur. They're all supposed to be in the same tense, and as I just said it, they all are. And so that's what makes A correct here. You might be able to hear this. I may have gone on to a long kind of memorized grammar rules explanation here, but it's because there are going to be other cases where our instincts and our ear are going to deceive us, and so we always want to back up these questions with actual rules when we can. And symmetry is not just about what sounds nice. It's about matching things and actually following a rhythm that we can point to other words to show us what the rhythm is. So as much as possible, try to do that so that you're 100% confident as you pick choice A here.